Hey lovelies, it's been a real mixed week here, but it does feel like in the UK we're starting to edge towards autumn, and I am not ready. As much as I enjoy autumnal weather, and then I enjoy kind of how I can dress for that and the perfumes I can wear, I'm not ready to be out of my flip-flops because I spent quite a lot of this summer not being able to wear them. The UK this summer has not been great, to be honest. Even yesterday, I'm filming this early on Sunday morning, and my husband and I just stayed in and put the sofa bed down in the living room and watched movies all day yesterday because it was so grey and windy and rainy and horrible in the UK. And this morning, my heating came on, like, which I was not expecting. I'm like, I am not ready for this. Hopefully, we'll get a little heat wave in September, but until then, I'm annoyed. Um, so anyway, let's start with Eau Duelle. I wear this all the time. This would be one of my signature scents nowadays if I was a signature scent person. This is the EDT. I'm obsessed with it, but I don't need to talk about it loads because I wear it all the time. So, bourbon vanilla, LME resin, cardamom, juniper, pink pepper, olibanum, black tea, bergamot, ambergris, musk and saffron. I'll talk to you guys next week about something that I think might be a good kind of affordable alternative to this. It's not identical, but it's definitely in that same kind of wheelhouse, which is probably why I love this other thing I've got so much. So let's just skip right ahead to... So I mentioned this. I don't know if I ever mentioned this on What I Wore Last Week. I hope I did. So this is Concrete Rain by Allsaints, and I got this little sample. And I did mention it in my Wood Sage and Sea Salt because it gives me the same kind of feel I think that other people get from that, but without the saltiness, and it's not quite as masculine to me. So I really loved this, and then I found out after I'd bought this sample that all of the All Saints perfumes have been discontinued, which is extremely annoying. And then I went and had a look recently, and I was very happy to find this. So this is the rather pretty box, and then... yeah, so you can kind of tell from this that this is a tester bottle. I got this from a company in the UK called The Fragrance Warehouse, and they still have bottles of this, 100ml tester bottles, for £19.99, and I was very happy about that indeed. So I didn't know if this was going to turn up with a lid or whatever, because it's a tester, but I'm very happy to say it did, and it has a lid that does actually look like concrete. It kind of feels a bit like concrete, but I think it's... Yeah, I don't know what this is actually made out of, but it is quite heavy and it does feel quite cold. So I think there's a possibility this is actually concrete. A thin bit of concrete, which if it is, how cool. I'm going to sniff this now. This is such a beautiful perfume, and it is definitely, in that same family as my CK2. That one is also like a kind of petrichor. It's cold rain on hot pebbles. And this is the same kind of thing. It's definitely slightly easier to wear than CK2. Reason being that I think CK2 has a more pronounced floral. I really get the rose in CK2, and it's a little bit drier, a little bit sharper. I absolutely love that one, but I wear that in high heat. I don't really wear it at other times of the year because it's really strong. It lasts for like 8 hours. It's amazing for such a transparent and kind of rain smell. CK2 lasts forever. It's absolutely gorgeous, very unisex. This one is a very similar kind of thing, but it's softer somehow. But it gives me that same kind of feel, but I think I can wear this all year. I don't think this smells like I'm going to have a problem with it in colder weather. I don't think it's going to be as sharp. So I'm so happy to have it as well, because I do think that, like, in terms of an easy reach, something like Wood Sage and Sea Salt, not so easy for me because it's very woody. It's a bit salty, and on me personally, it turns a little bit masculine, but I do think it's really pretty. Concrete Rain, super unisex. Wood Sage and Sea Salt kind of smells like Brighton Beach on a cold day, that kind of thing, like a rocky, pebbly beach. And this one, it doesn't smell like seawater, but it has that same water on like pebbles kind of smell. It's just so pretty. So it would help if I gave you the notes, wouldn't it? We've got rain notes and lily in the top, orris and orchid in the mid, and then cottonwood, which is called poplar apparently. I don't have a huge amount of experience with cottonwood. Cashmere wood and musk. So it's musky, it's really got a strong rain note. I can kind of get a sense that there are florals here, but they're not quite as dry and sharp as CK2. This definitely isn't as strong as CK2, and it doesn't last as long, which I think, again, for me is why it's kind of an easier, like, anytime reach. CK1, I think if I tried to wear that, in fact, when I first got it, and I tried to wear it in colder weather, it was a little bit headachy for me because it's actually quite intense. Like I said, this is very soft. It's so pretty. I'm really chuffed with it. Okay, the next thing I'm going to get up. This is one that I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep or not because I go back and forth with it. But I wore it this week and I really liked it. This is Melilot or Melilot, I'm not sure how you're supposed to say that, from L'Occitane en Provence. And it is, I sort of feel like it's a kind of semi-gourmand, honeyed, just kind of, is it barley or something? I'm just going to get the notes up. I'm trying to get this so it's not too reflective. I always have to put them at a slightly odd angle because I've got the light over here. Wheat and bran, that's what it is. So this is the one when I was when I was doing unisex perfumes with my husband. He did not like this. He was not impressed with this. He thought it smelled masculine, which is funny to me because I don't find this one masculine. I find this much more feminine than masculine, but I think I find anything that smells a bit kind of like honeyed and sweet quite feminine anyway. So we disagreed on this one, but I did say to him I wasn't sure about this one yet because it does have such a pronounced wheaty, branny, kind of edible, almost savoury kind of smell. Like almost bready or something. Very nutty though, actually. Extremely nutty in a very realistic way. But it does dry down to be something so pretty. It's kind of fluffy. I think if I'm in the right mood, I really enjoy this one. And I think the problem is maybe the last time I tried to wear it, I wasn't in the right mood. And if I sniff it from the cap, because I get so much of that wheat bran, like hazelnut, it's almost like a kind of chopped, unroasted hazelnut smell, if that makes sense. So it's pear, carrot seeds and galbanum in the top. Middle notes are hazelnut, Melio, which apparently is sweet clover, and hay. Base notes wheat, bran, cedarwood and vetiver. It definitely has a few crossovers though with Terre de Lumiere, which I love, which is the lavender and honey scent that I'm absolutely obsessed with from L'Occitane. And I think this doesn't say it's got honey in, but it gives me that same kind of natural L'Occitane French honey smell. So yeah, I really enjoyed wearing it this time. So it is staying with me. It's gone back into my display because it's been in its box kind of awaiting what I was going to do with it, and I needed to try it out again. So I was in a bit of a honey mood and I thought, right, rather going for the one that I know that I love, I'm going to try this one, and I just really enjoyed it. It's just really pretty. Oh, I put this one, to be honest, if I'm honest, I put this one on by accident. I picked it up, thinking it was grape soda, because, as I said when I reviewed these, I feel like this colour matches grape soda more than the colour that's on grape soda, and this doesn't necessarily match Space Girl. I'd have this with more of this kind of colour because it kind of smells like a lemon cake to me. Maybe a lemon cake dotted with blueberries or something, but yeah, lots of people get berries from this, but I get like a citrusy, cakey smell. It is Lush though, so I mean, and from Lush, a Space Girl from Lush, and it still smelled lovely. I enjoyed wearing it because I do think it's really nice. I was a little bit gutted because I love grape soda and I'm obsessed with that one. But I'll wear grape soda next week. I'm sure of it. I'm sure there'll be another grape soda opportunity very soon. So, Space Girl, I think, what do they say on this? I think they say grapefruit, definitely. Oh yes, almond oil, that's what it is that makes it smell cakey. I really like the Lush almond oil. I feel like they need to put that in more of their perfumes, because I didn't like Barbie, but it was the other elements of Barbie that I didn't like it, because it smelled too much like a literal bath bomb for me. But when I first sprayed that and I got the cherry and the almond, it was so pretty. And the almond is just delicious in this. That's what makes it smell so, so good. But yeah, so this one, like I said, I think if you like, what's it called? If you like super milk, then you might really like this, because I don't think they smell the same, but I definitely think they have a little bit of a kind of crossover in smelling kind of sweet, a little bit creamy with lots of citrus. I just think this one's actually more approachable and a bit easier, because it's not quite as bitter as super milk in the kind of citrusy skin smell. It's much more like a citrusy juice. So yeah, that is delicious. And then I also wore one morning, because I was kind of craving a bit of the fresh cream, but it was too warm for me to wear fresh cream. It's like so sweet, that perfume. It's very sugary. So I went for fresh cream and mint. So fresh cream and mint, this is just the body spirits. This is super cute. Even, I mean, I had to wear this on a cold morning, and even then, by the time it started warming up, it was a good job that it was time for my shower, because it's just very, very sweet. All of the fresh cream perfumes are very sugary sweet. But this is delicious, because it just smells like fresh cream, the body spray or the perfume, but with a load of bright and fresh mint in it. So it's kind of more zingy, it's more awakening, it's more fresh, very fresh. Delicious, that one. It was really nice. So yeah, I can't get any notes for this. I've asked them to put this on for Grantica, but it still hasn't turned up. So yeah, this is one that you can still buy in the UK on the grey market, though I saw it quite recently. This is Guess Girl. It doesn't have its original ridiculous plastic flower lid, because it's a tester bottle. This is very pretty, I have to say. Like, wearing it this week amongst all these interesting perfumes, this one did have a little bit of a kind of generic feel to it, but it was also a very easy wear. It's a little bit girly, it's really pretty, it's like fruity, floral, musky, slightly sweet but not very sweet. What it is I like about this, firstly, is that my husband has told me I smell nice in this one, and it is kind of up his street in terms of being like a fruity musk. I mean, and he kind of likes fruity floral musks as well, and this is kind of in that wheelhouse. But also because it doesn't list musk, but it has definitely the same kind of musk that's in Guess Dare, and I love Guess Dare. So it has that kind of soapiness that's not, I mean, at first when I spray it, it's more slightly shampooey, but then it dries down and it smells more like a bar soap kind of musk, and I do like that. I think I'd just worn so many fascinating things this week that this one was very kind of like just simple, and not particularly exciting. And I'm not going to declutter it. It's just, probably not one to wear when I've been wearing things like Melilot and Concrete Rain and Eau Duelle, because they're so interesting, and even Space Girl's kind of interesting. This is kind of a classic girly pink perfume. So the notes here are raspberry, melon and bergamot, middle notes of orchid, lily and black locust, base notes, Madagascar, vanilla, Australian sandalwood, and there's definitely musk in here. It's ridiculous that they don't list it. It's like pretty musky. But it's smelling it now, it's super pretty. I'm really happy to wear this one. I'm happy to smell like this. But yeah, maybe on a different day. I probably just didn't wear it on the right day, because I just wasn't very excited by it. I was like, yeah, it's okay. But it was also something I kind of reached for when I was like, I want to wear something I haven't worn for a while, but I don't want it to be challenging. And that's kind of what it is. So it worked out in that respect. Okay. So I did talk about the Guerlain flankers when I had some samples and I had a couple of bottles. I actually had, because I got it on eBay, the Bloom of Rose EDP, and I did not like it, even though I'd seen a couple of YouTubers not like the EDT, but then say the EDP was really nice. So I went for the EDP because I saw it for a good price, and then I really didn't like it. But I had a sample of the EDT at that point, and I liked that one much better. So I wore what was left of my little sample recently, and then I've been watching out. I actually got this 50 ml bottle of the Eau de Toilette of Bloom of Rose for £30 on Vinted. Under 50 I can kind of live with. Under 40 ideally is my affordable. So to get this for 30, I was very happy indeed. So always worth looking on both eBay and Vinted, and just double check that the sellers have some kind of not vote, what are they called, have been reviewed in some way, because I got diddled on something a while back and I had to get my money back from Vinted. But yeah, so this bottle is so pretty as well. I keep all of them next to each other because they do look really cute together, even though this is definitely a summer perfume. Really nice. This, weirdly though, it kind of reminds me of something from my childhood. I'm not sure what it is. This has a kind of greenish liquid compared to the others. So if I turn around and I look now, yeah, you've got the Intense is a kind of deep purpley pinky colour. The normal one is more of a kind of orangey, yummy, again, slightly pink, but it's like got more of a yellow tone to it, more of a vanillic tone, which kind of matches the gold. And then the Sparkling Bouquet is like a really sheer pale pink, and that's got the silver. And then this one is Bloom of Rose, so it's got this colour, which is closest, I'd say, it's closest to the Intense, this little metal bit, but it's got this kind of fresh looking, slightly green toned juice. Yeah, it does. For some reason it reminds me of something from my childhood. I'm not really sure what it is, but the nice thing about this, I think I've said before that I feel like if you're going to have an EDT version of Guerlain, the original, then personally I would say the Sparkling Bouquet smells like an EDT version of that perfume. It's fresher, it's not as thick, it's not quite as vanillic, but it still has quite a strong sweetness. And it's like, it still has the lavender, it's still got the backbone. This also still has the lavender, and it does still have a little bit of that backbone of Guerlain, but it then loses the kind of sweet vanillic base. It does still have a sweetness here. It's not like super sharp, but it definitely is more summer appropriate. So this one is citruses and lavender in the top, mid notes of neroli, Bulgarian rose and jasmine sambac, base notes Tahitian vanilla and sandalwood. So I really don't like the jasmine sambac in the Guerlain range, and it's really strong in some and not so much in others. Thankfully, it does start off a bit stronger in this one, but then it calms down and it's more of a neroli and rose. I can be very fussy about neroli, but this is not too bitter for me. It's kind of soapy again, this one. It's not quite as soapy, I don't think, maybe as Sparkling Bouquet, but it is quite soapy. But not pushing into shampoo. It doesn't get that harsh shampoo smell. It's just very nice. It was so nice in the warm weather. I wore that on a hotter day, and it was beautiful. And I love the lavender in it. I just love lavender in perfume. So I'm really investing in investing in samples to investigate lavender perfumes, because I do have a real soft spot for things that have lavender in. Like I find them really soothing and easy to wear. They're just delicious. So if you can get hold of the Eau de Toilette, I think this is so pretty. It doesn't have a huge amount of rose, to be honest, and I'm really fussy about rose. All of the rose perfumes that I really love are like rose with other things. They're like a fruity rose or a mixed floral that has quite a lot of rose. I found the Eau de Parfum to have more rose, and it didn't really have any of the DNA of Guerlain, and that's why I was like, nah, I'm not really bothered about that one. It doesn't really do anything for me. So let's move on to Beautiful. I thought I'd try this on a hot day, because this to me, although it still has elements of some of the classics, and the classic kind of golden warm musks, it does feel like more of a white musk to wear. And this is so nice in hot weather. Oh my goodness. So this is another eBay buy. Chanel number 5 L'Eau, bought from a trusted seller, and it was partially used. It wasn't like all wrapped up in a new bottle, which I always think is slightly more suspicious that it might be a fake. But Chanel number 5 L'Eau, if you want a kind of more affordable alternative to something that smells a bit like this, it's not identical, but if you get the Elixir Ashley White Musk, I prefer the oil version if you can get that, but the spray is quite strong. This is one of those that, this was so much stronger and lasted so much longer in the hot weather, and it was very pretty, chic and clean. It definitely has a hint of a kind of more dated musk, because it still smells a little bit like Chanel number 5. But to me, that smells classy. So some people will think it smells dated or too mature. Personally, I just think it smells classic, and I think it smells chic and ladylike, and you smell like a rich woman. Like, honestly, I'm not sure there's many Chanels you can wear without smelling like a rich woman. I think that, you know, most of the number 5 range, I think the original Chance, and to be honest, the Chance Eau Tendre, and like Allure, all of those, I think you will smell like a rich woman. It's a really, really pretty musk. I really enjoyed wearing it, and I was so aware of it in a way that when I've worn it in colder weather, I haven't really been aware of it. So this is probably going to be a warm weather perfume for me from now on, just for that reason. So this has aldehydes, lemon and neroli, mandarin orange, bergamot, orange and lime in the top, so very beautiful and citrusy. So mid notes of ylang ylang, jasmine and May rose. I feel like I get a little bit of all of these florals, super pretty. Base notes, white musk, there you go, orris root, cedar and vanilla. But because it still has a little bit of that DNA of Chanel number 5, it does still smell a little bit more like the kind of Jovan musks. So this sits somewhere in between like Elixir Ashley White Musk and, actually for me, because it's so citrusy, Musk number 6 from Gosh. Like, this sits in between the two of those. So if you want this same kind of feel, either one of those is probably going to give you a nice, really soapy, musky, but citrusy and kind of clean, fresh scent. Really beautiful. The Elixir Ashley one, I think, has like lilac. It might have lavender. Whereas this has the ylang ylang, which is what I think the Musk number 6 is quite heavy in, which is why that one's really pretty. That one's even soapier than this, which is crazy, because this has crazy aldehydes in it. So like I said, a bit similar to the original number 5, but much thinner. And because this isn't a chypre, it smells much more modern than Chanel number 5. But because it has a Chanel number 5 DNA, I mean, if Marilyn Monroe was still around, this is probably the one she'd be wearing now, if you see what I mean, like the modern version of. Really very beautiful. But yeah, I definitely recommend this one for warm weather. And the thing that's kind of crazy is that I think I've said this before, Chanel prices haven't gone up quite as crazily as some of the other houses. So I look at some of the like fancy Lancôme perfumes, the fancy Guerlain perfumes, some of the fancy, well, even like the Burberry ones now. Some of the YSLs are like £300, and Chanel, like, you can get a bottle of this. This is the 30ml. If you get it new, you can get it for like 60. In the UK, you can get it for about £63. I think it retails for 67. Which, you know, it's a small bottle, but honestly, I've got to say, just don't spray too much of this, because it does feel light, but because it's quite musky and aldehydic, if you spray too much, it's very overwhelming. And that is exactly the same with the Elixir Ashley White Musk. Don't spray too much of that. If you layer it over itself, it gets massively, overwhelmingly musky. So yeah, I mean, you can like spray it all over, but don't spray loads of it over the top of each other. And I didn't reapply this until I left work, so that was like at least 8 hours I had this on for. Really impressive in the hot weather. Very beautiful. Felt like a right classy bird. Okay. I had to pull it out because I've been wearing this again. Sometimes at night now, it's getting a bit colder. Oh, I think I might have worn this for a whole day actually last weekend. Of course I did. That's why I've actually put it in the list, because I wear it all the time. My baby skin musk. Don't worry, I do have some of this in a rollerball, and I do have backup bottles of the oil because I love it. Skin musk, best warm musk in my humble opinion that exists. Totally beautiful. It lists musk, sandalwood and floral notes. I'd say this smells like it's got quite a lot of vanilla in it. It's definitely a musky sandalwood, but in terms of florals, I think probably a little bit of rose, because in the spray you get more of a pronounced rosy smell. My husband thinks it smells like Turkish Delight, that spray, and it's definitely more of a powdery sweetness in that one. This one's more soapy, like bar soap, classic old school soap. And so this one's aldehydic, definitely. It's musky. I think there's probably rose and ylang ylang, and I imagine some jasmine, because there's nearly always jasmine in these things. So those are the ones I'd pick out. I do think there's like a bit of a ylang ylang feel going on in this as well. But yeah, there's definitely rose. It's so lush. I wear it all the time. It is like a second skin. Another one that would be one of my signatures. So if I was to have like just a handful of signature scents, Eau Duelle would probably be my vanilla, and this would be my musk, the skin musk. Just beautiful. So the last two things to mention is I keep going and they've never got it. So I'm just going to buy a sample. When payday comes around, I've got a whole list of samples I want to buy from Small Aromas to talk about, because I've got a ton of samples. I made a couple of videos that didn't come out properly, so I need to remake them. So I'm just going to do them in lots of little ones. I want to smell Burberry Goddess Intense. I don't think I'm going to like it. I just want to smell it. And I want to smell Libre Flower and Flames. They haven't got that. I want to smell the new Maison Margiela Afternoon Delight, the one that's supposed to smell like a Madeleine. I want to smell all of these things, and they don't have them in store in the UK, and I can't smell them anywhere. So, not in the stores I'm going into either. I haven't found them in Selfridges, and I haven't found them in John Lewis. Those are really the only two stores that I go to that have new perfumes of that range. Boots sometimes has new stuff, but that tends to be more like the Ariana Grande ones. But anyway, while I was in there, I sprayed two things on my body. One was Flur Depo from Diptyque, because I'm still trying to buy myself a bargain bottle of that, but it's really quite difficult, so it might take me a while. I'm not going to break and spend like 80 quid. I'm determined to get it for less. And the other one I sprayed on was Eternity Aromatic Essence by Calvin Klein. So it was interesting, because on that day, that's the day I was wearing Chanel No. 5. So my arms were kind of free of scent, but my wrists and my neck, I had Chanel No. 5 La Eau on. So I put Fleur Depo on the top, like higher up on one arm, and I put Eternity Aromatic Essence, the one for women, on my other arm. And on the way home, what I could smell was the Aromatic Essence. That perfume is strong and it has real throw. It was absolutely surrounding me. There was a real big scent bubble just from like one spray on my arm. Now, when I first sprayed it, I was like, that's super pretty. It's really, really nice. I like it. Would I wear it? Don't know. Let's see. And then it dried down and it did get a bit chemically. And then in the deep dry down, I got a bit of that tar note. Not a huge amount, but definitely there's aroma chemicals. I would say there's ambroxan and the aroma chemical that smells like tar to me. Both of those in Aromatic Essence, which is a shame, because before then it kind of smells like a tangy pina colada. Like, it's really sweet. If you imagine a pina colada next to the sea, that's what it smells like. So the notes in it are aqual, lavender. Aqual, I don't know what that is. It's probably some kind of aroma chemical to smell like the sea, I imagine. So aqual, lavender, lime, ambrette, coconut water, salt, peony, blackcurrant, that's the mid notes, and then sandalwood in the base. But if you aren't sensitive to aroma chemicals and you like the sound of a pina colada next to this ocean, it's a really good, you can get it for like 30 something pounds online. and it honestly lasted forever, and I could still smell it after my shower, even though I tried to kind of scrub it off. So it lasts for ages. It's really strong. Fleur Depo didn't really have much of a chance while I had that on my skin, but once that started to come off, once I'd scrubbed it off a bit, I could still smell Diptyque Fleur Depo when I woke up the next day. So I sprayed it on at like 5 o'clock when I left work, and then I could still smell it. I could still smell it at 10 o'clock in the morning. And it like, I kind of wafted, and I was like, oh, what's that lovely smell? And I smelled my arm, and I was like, oh, that's Fleur Depo. I love Fleur Depo. I think I said last time, I feel like it's how people feel about Glossier You, but that one's so full of ambroxan that I can't wear that one. It gives me a headache. But Fleur Depo is in that same kind of vibe. It's like this beautiful dry iris that smells like clean skin. It's so lush. I've got to get hold of it. I'm waiting my turn to win a bid on it. I lost the last bid because I wasn't paying attention, and it sold for, I think it sold for 50 something pounds, and I was going to go up to 65, and I was gutted. But anyway, the notes in Fleur Depo are aldehydes, pink pepper, angelica, bergamot, iris, and Turkish rose. Base notes. Oh wait, the iris and Turkish rose are mid notes. I can't talk. It's because I've just got up this morning. Base notes: musk, ambrette, carrot, ambergris, sandalwood, leather, and amberwood. And I was worried the amberwood would turn into something nasty on me, but it doesn't. Diptyque perfumes are so delicious. Like, even the ones I don't like, the only one that I've had a bit of an issue on is one of their newer ones, the Papier. That one just smells a bit like cardboard. That one smells a bit chemically to me in the deep dry down. But everything else I've tried smells so natural and beautiful. Oh my God, I'm just obsessed. Thankfully, I think once I've got Fleur Depo, I don't think I'd want full bottles of any of the other ones. I will talk to you about some pen sprays I've got on their way, because I've been eBaying. I've been Diptyque eBaying because I love a bargain. But yeah, I think that's it this week, guys. That's everything. So I can't even remember what I've got coming up on Wednesday. But yeah, it's a busy time at work. It's a busy time in life, and I'm just, to be honest, a little bit tired. I'm already ready for my little break, and I'm hoping the weather's going to improve, because it does make me feel a bit tired when it's all grey. But tell me what you've been wearing. Tell me if you've got any of these. Tell me if you've smelt what's it called, the Eternity Aromatic Essence. Tell me if you've smelt Fleur Depo, so delicious. Yeah, and just tell me what you think about these guys. I've had a very delicious week. They're all super pretty. No declutters, nothing I actually actively don't like, all staying with me. But yeah, I think in terms of excitement, I'm still really excited about Eau Duelle. I was very excited about this one, and this is a very beautiful summer perfume to have. So yeah, super chuffed. Bye guys. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Thanks.